an interview came out, a Woody Harrelson interview that MTV did came out this past week, in which Woody revealed some things about his portrayal of the character. Among these things were the fact that he based Haymitch's hair on his brother's hair. He just thought that would work, I guess. 2, he said that he wasn't going to have a paunch. He actually said, I didn't want to do the paunch. And he sort of indicated that he was sort of going to downplay the drunken aspect. And that's all well and good, but I guess the interview just rubbed me the wrong way a little, because I interpreted it as the filmmakers having given Woody Harrelson free rein to basically do whatever he wanted with Haymitch, when the character is very clearly written in the books. And to me, it seems like they're breaking canon with a lot of these choices. The hair, I don't really get that. He has dark curly hair in the books. Why did he just decide to copy his brother's long blonde hair? I don't know. It seemed weird to me. But I think that I can live with. But, the things that he said about not, and I don't have his exact quote, but he basically said that he didn't want to do what everyone would expect. But that's the character, so that just kind of annoyed me. I'm not really sure why he is feeling the need to reinvent the character, and to me that's how I interpreted this interview. And also the other thing that sort of I didn't care for was his, and maybe this is humility, maybe I'm just completely looking at this the wrong way, but I felt kind of a lack of confidence when he was speaking. He even said he wasn't sure if he succeeded, and maybe that was humility, but to me it just made me see a lack of confidence in his own portrayal of the character.
No, I agree. I mean, he said something like, I think it was good, or something like that, right?
Well,
yeah, he was like, I think it was good.
Well, it's like I told you, Savanna. If he came out and said, I know I nailed it, it was perfect, we'd think, oh, my gosh, what a cocky son of a... And
yeah.
So I think I think it is humility. I mean, a lot of actors come out and they'll say, I hope I did the role justice. And I mean that's a standard line for many. It's like I hope I did, and I hope the fans really like what I did. And so I think it was pure humility. I think it's the standard line in Suzanne Collins and Gary Ross we trust. And they, he was chosen for this role, and if Suzanne had any problem with him, what he was doing, and considering Gary wanted her on set every day, I can't imagine that she, if it was he was doing something that went too much against the character that she didn't agree with, that I'm pretty sure she would have spoke up. And I'm pretty sure they would have listened to her. So, especially Gary. But that's my take.
I like that he doesn't give him a punch. I mean, I've never really pictured Haymitch ever as being overweight.
I think it does say he has a punch in the book.
He has, yeah, it does say. But at the same time, I'm excited that Woody brought a little bit of his own personality to it. I'm excited to see what he does. I don't think that we all should just jump the gun and be like, oh no, and I'm waiting to see what he's really gonna bring. Maybe he's downplaying it a little bit. Maybe it is gonna be the Haymitch that we all want. Or I want, maybe, I don't know.
I think he can pull it off. I think it'll be fine.
I think the most important thing that I love about the interview is how, if he says he's never done sequels before, and he's excited to do the sequels. He's excited to work with them again and to do this, and that just says itself. That to me was the part I really took out of that interview. I mean, I love his line. He says, he's like, it wasn't a chore. It was actually the opposite. It was a lot of fun. They managed to mix business and pleasure really well, that whole group. I'd say we get after it again next year. I mean, I just love that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought his attitude. Oh, sorry.
I'm excited that he was talking about the second film already because it gives me faith that they're going to hold on to him.
Yeah, like I thought his attitude towards the film and the cast was fantastic. I mean, clearly he loves this project, and I think he's honored to be a part of it. But, you know, I just feel myself getting a little anxious about how much the movie is going to deviate from the book because, you know, the Haymitch that we know and love is a very publicly drunk, kind of disheveled guy who, you know, has, you know, his best days are behind him, and I think that's what makes the character so compelling. But I know some people were talking about people who are like hoarders and you don't really know it to look at them. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're going down that route more in the film, like on the exterior maybe he tries to maintain a good appearance, but he's, you know, inside his home, he's like a drunk slob.
I mean, we may still see, depending on the different scenes, we may still see, you know, the Haymitch that, you know, that is all, you know, completely drunk. And, you know, I think, you know, it's one of those times when we don't see Haymitch all the time. In the first book, we see him at the beginning, we see him at the end. We don't see him during the games. Yeah. And we already know they're going to show him during the games. So it's, you know, we're going to see him at, you know, different times when he may realize that he has to, you know, I mean, to be there for Katniss and Theta. So I think we may see a different side of him that, you know, at the Reaping, I know Shiloh said this many times, at the Reaping we see him at his worst, the worst day of his year. And it's, you know, it's not a surprise that he's so far gone. And then, you know, on the train and all that. But we, you know, once they get into the Capitol and they're, you know, once he's in the Capitol and they're in the arena, we don't see him. So we may, I mean, it may be then, especially when we see a different Haymitch.
Well, and even like in general, like deviations from books. I mean, Savanna, you and me were just talking about Neverending Story and how you read that the author hated the movie so much, and yet we really liked the movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he'll create something entirely different that we totally love anyway, even though it's not just like the books, you know.
I hope so. I think once I see footage, for example, the trailer, I'll probably feel a lot better. But yeah, it just makes me a little uneasy that they seem to have let Woody kind of do whatever he wanted. And, you know, I don't fully trust Gary. I don't fully trust Woody. Clearly, I'm on a first-name basis with them right now. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not willing to put my faith in them yet, just because I haven't seen anything to, like, solidify my faith in them. So hopefully the trailer will show more than Katniss running through the woods.
And hopefully they announce that trailer.
And hopefully they tell us when we're going to get it.
Maybe they'll tell it. Maybe they'll tell Xander, and then he can tell everybody.